Hello and welcome to NBA Insider Desk, your go-to channel for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on everything happening in the world of basketball. If you're passionate about the NBA and want to stay informed about the most important developments, you've come to the right place. Before we dive into today's topic, I have a small request. If you enjoy our content and appreciate the effort we put into bringing you the latest news, take a moment to click the like button on this video. It's a simple, free action that helps us grow and continue providing high-quality coverage. Many of our viewers watch our content regularly, but forget to hit that like button. So if you haven't already, please do so now. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's get straight into today's big story. Spurs could make a stunning move for Anthony Davis while trading Stephen Castle to the Mavericks. The San Antonio Spurs are currently facing an uphill battle when it comes to securing a spot in the 2025 NBA Play-In Tournament. As the season progresses, their chances of making the cut seem to diminish with each passing game. A combination of factors has contributed to their struggles, including the uncertain future of their legendary head coach, Greg Popovich, and the unfortunate injury to their rising star, Victor Wembanyama. At present, the Spurs hold a record of 26-37, which places them in the 13th spot in the Western Conference. Despite making a notable move at the trade deadline by acquiring De'Aaron Fox in a deal with the Sacramento Kings, it appears that San Antonio is once again destined to miss the postseason, marking their 6th consecutive season without a playoff appearance. However, behind the scenes, the Spurs front office is already working on potential strategies to reshape the team for the future. Recent rumors suggest that the organization might be considering a blockbuster trade in an effort to accelerate their rebuilding process. The latest speculation revolves around the possibility of San Antonio making a bold move to acquire Los Angeles Lakers star Anthony Davis. The goal? To pair Davis with Wembanyama and form a formidable front-court duo that could pose serious problems for opposing teams. The dream trade: Anthony Davis to the Spurs, Stephen Castle to the Mavericks. This intriguing trade scenario was recently brought up by NBA analyst Tree Combe during an episode of Bleacher Report's NBA Daily program. According to Combe, a deal involving Davis heading to San Antonio could reshape the Western Conference landscape. Imagine a defensive duo consisting of Davis and Wemby in the paint. If you're talking about pairs that could completely dismantle opposing offenses, this would be one of them, Combe stated. In terms of trade logistics, reports suggest that a possible deal could involve several key players. Names such as Harrison Barnes and Keldon Johnson have surfaced as potential trade assets, along with Devin Vassell and Stephen Castle. One of the biggest questions surrounding this hypothetical trade is whether the Spurs would be willing to part with Castle, a talented young point guard with significant potential. While it is likely that Dallas would push to include Castle in any negotiations, the Spurs might attempt to find a way to keep him out of the trade package. Is Anthony Davis worth the risk for the Spurs? Despite being 32 years old, Anthony Davis remains one of the most dominant big men in the league. His skill set, defensive versatility, and ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor make him a highly valuable asset. However, one major concern looms over any potential trade involving Davis: his injury history. Over the years, Davis has struggled with durability, raising legitimate concerns about whether he would be able to stay healthy for an extended period. Furthermore, the Mavericks' reported desire to acquire Stephen Castle complicates matters for San Antonio. Castle, who is currently a frontrunner for Rookie of the Year honors, has demonstrated immense promise and could be a foundational piece for the Spurs moving forward. If San Antonio ultimately agrees to part ways with Castle, it would signify a high-stakes gamble on Davis's ability to stay on the court and lead the team to success. What would this trade mean for both teams? For the Spurs, if this deal goes through, San Antonio would be making a bold and high-risk decision. However, the potential reward could be game-changing. A front-court duo of Davis and Wembanyama would immediately transform the Spurs into one of the league's most intimidating defensive teams. Additionally, with De'Aaron Fox running the offense, the team could quickly become a serious contender in the Western Conference. The key challenge for San Antonio would be ensuring that Davis remains healthy and available. Before sustaining his most recent injury on February 8th, Davis had been putting up impressive numbers, averaging 25.7 points and 12.0 rebounds per game over 42 appearances this season. If he can maintain that level of production while staying on the floor, this trade could help propel the Spurs back into championship contention. For the Mavericks, trading away Anthony Davis would have a significant impact on Dallas, but it could also present new opportunities. By moving Davis, the Mavericks would free up substantial cap space, alleviating the financial burden of his massive $175 million contract. This flexibility could allow the franchise to shift its focus toward building a younger, more balanced roster. Additionally, acquiring Stephen Castle would provide Dallas with a high-potential prospect to center their rebuilding efforts around. At just 20 years old, Castle has already showcased glimpses of his immense talent. Adding other assets, such as Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, would further enhance the Mavericks' depth, setting the stage for a long-term development strategy. A high-risk, high-reward move. The idea of pairing Victor Wembanyama with Anthony Davis is undoubtedly exciting for Spurs fans, but the potential trade comes with substantial risks. San Antonio would need to sacrifice young talent and possibly future draft picks in order to acquire Davis. If the gamble pays off and Davis remains healthy, the Spurs could rapidly ascend into contender status in the Western Conference. However, if injuries continue to plague him, the team could find itself in a difficult situation. The likelihood of this trade coming to fruition remains uncertain. Nonetheless, one thing is clear: the San Antonio Spurs are willing to take bold steps in an effort to regain relevance and re-establish themselves as a force in the NBA. Whether or not this move is the one that finally returns them to championship contention remains to be seen. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor these developments. Will the Spurs take the plunge and make this blockbuster trade? Or will the Mavericks hold firm in their demands? One thing's for sure: the NBA offseason is shaping up to be as exciting as ever.